This is Short Hammer. It is the 25th of September, 2022, and this is Trading Zones. Last week was a very interesting week. We had a very important FOMC, and as expected, it wasn't great, right? I think the market the market keeps, guys, don't listen to experts. People try to bake in and say that if it was a 0.75 raise rather than a full one, then that would mean that the market wouldn't be surprised. Powell came out with a 0.75, and guess what? The market pretended to be surprised, and we sold. And maybe it was his comments that made us sell. But the important thing is, don't listen to anything anyone is telling you when it comes to saying that the selling is over. This is the bottom of the market. The Don't try to catch the bottom, right? Just trade level to level. And when the bottom of the market does happen and we do begin a rally, and probably 6 month rally or whatever, however long that rally is going to last, if we're just bullish for the year, whenever that rally begins, you're not going to miss it. Everyone's going to know the market has turned and that the buyers are back. Until that point, don't listen to anything anyone is telling you about the bottom being in. It's not true. So, what did Powell say? He believes that inflation is still insanely high. He'd like it to go lower. Expect the Fed to continue to ramp up interest rate hikes as they have been doing. He thinks the real estate market is too hot and that houses are too expensive, and he'd like to see those prices go down. So he's trying to combat that, all those things in one, by raising interest rates. It's going to be more expensive to get mortgages. It's going to put a squeeze on the economy, a squeeze on the real estate market. Prices are going to recede. That's what's going to happen. So, looking at the RTY, we did make it to the 1660s, very interesting level, right? And we bounced. This pop gold is here. We bounced. So if we can get back, we see the structure here around the 1680s. If we can get back to the 1700s and get above, we do have room to pull back into the maybe the 1740s. Maybe. It's a maybe, right? But my bend is that we go down. And if you looked at financials, Thursday, Friday, kind of Wednesday, but Thursday, Friday, they took a beating. And so my view on financials is that there may be more room to go. And some of the things that Powell says does not bode well for our banks and our financials. And like we talked about, at some point, it does become more of a balancing act where the interest rate hikes are beginning to be profitable or beneficial for the bank, that it begins to balance out the loss of business from people not wanting to create new debt in the current interest rate environments, right? But there are people that are going to have to service debt. There are people that are going to have to, in emergency circumstances, or if the situation is, is just you can't wait, that they will be, getting loans and, you know, um, I'll say getting new debt, right? Getting new loans, and some people's businesses do need that. They do need to go in and get cash and get money and get credit and extend that credit. And so they're going to pay whatever the interest rate is to keep their business going. So that's there also. But financials took a beating, and I think financials do have more room to go. I'll get into that in another chart when I take a peek at Goldman Sachs. So looking at the MES, what are we looking like? We're not at all time, not all time, but we're not at the low of the lows, right? June, we haven't gone back there exactly, though close. So looking at the MES, we did bounce. We want to see if we can get back over the 37.47-ish area. A lot of lower wicks here. Pardon me, from July. And yeah, a lot of wicks there. So we'll see if we can get through that. If not, we'd expect us to go back down. I do expect us to continue to go down. Not sure where the bottom is. We can see this channel that, even though we broke out of, we sold right back into and haven't been bullish above since. So we'll see how that plays out at those levels. These lower levels here where we just bounced, 3660s, Then we have the 3690s, 3701. We're at 3714-ish. So we'll see if we can continue to go up or if we, open gap down. So we'll see how that plays out on the MES. Moving. MNQ. Checking out this ticker. Let's see. So we did bounce, not quite at the previous lows from June. And we are back testing up into the 11,380s. We'll see how this plays out. I do think that there's more room to go down. And I do think we're going to make a lower low than what we made in June, but we'll see. If we can regain the 11,511s, maybe that opens up the 11,710s. I kind of doubt that we're going to see that, but we have to play it level to level. And we sort of bounce off those 11,260s. Directly below that is about that 11,118-ish area. So we'll see. But we'll see if we see any type of relief bounce headed into Monday. And Sunday night will show us that if we gap up or gap down, we'll see. But a lot of things under pressure, a lot of things are selling. So definitely be careful. Jumping over the Amazon. Amazon looks like 106.90s is next up, unless we can get back over the 124.61s. Below this hitch here at 114.90-ish. That's kind of close on Amazon. Amazon does have earnings coming up on, I believe it's mid-October. So just looking at this, we'll see if we happen to pull back. I'll keep an eye open right around the 1116. I mean, not 11, the 116.90s, 117-ish area to see if from that point we definitely see, if we see more selling and we go back to the downside. If we get through the 106s, then we have the 95.20s on Amazon. Okay. Actually, let me go to NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, nice push here. So if you look at the 133-ish area, we see a few days where we did see buyers in that area give us a nice little bounce. So once we cut through it, what you wait for is a back test into that area to fade, and we did see that, and we did drop. So the question is, how far can we go? Next level I'm watching is the 119.07s. We'll see if we bounce from here, sort of break this this downtrend here, and if we can get over the 138.40s and then squeeze above that, we'll see how that plays out on NVIDIA. Okay, that's interesting. But we know chips have been kind of funky, so you got to be careful. Okay, Microsoft, nice dip here. 234 right above that. If we can regain the 240s, we might see a little something. But 242, the 242s is previous dip buy area. Now that we're through that, I think back testing that, it should be a bearish setup in the bearish area. Let's see how that plays out. But these are levels to watch on Microsoft. If we continue to go down, 234, 231, 229, then 221 to the upside, 240, 240. Yep. 242, then yeah, this is like 245-ish. So we have to see how that plays out on Microsoft. Yeah, not sure if this is a thought ran through my head as we dip. Should people be slightly scaling into a lot of these longer term positions? That's hard to answer. We have to see. Nice little bounce here on Apple. Looking to the upside. If we do, the next stop will be 153.20s. Just 153s, then 156s. To the downside, if we give it a 149, it's 147.50 and 144.91. if you look around the market, so many tickers are off almost 50%, and Apple, not even. So there's something interesting about Apple that even though it feels as if we've been in a slight economic turmoil, that Apple's still holding up. And it's probably because it's in so many retirement funds. But um, once see how this plays out. We are downtrending. I think we can go lower, but I'll definitely be keeping an eye on Apple. Okay. Oh, let's not forget Netflix. Get moving on Netflix below the 239s. This area is nice. Nice push through, then fail. The bottom of this area that I will be looking for is maybe the 219-ish area um, on Netflix. And I think we've discussed their new ad model. So you could, check out a previous video where it does cover that. Netflix had good range last few days. Let's see if that continues. We'll definitely have to see a dip into the 219s, then a reversal from there, or continued selling. Um, yeah, so that's what I'll be watching for on Netflix. Those levels specifically. Okay, over to Tesla. Man, Tesla looks like a janky M pattern, right? That's interesting on the 4 hour. But we'll keep an eye on the 270s. What happens when we get there if we're weak and we sell through? Is it possible to get to the 259s and maybe lower? If we bounce, then we might get to through 301. Um there. So we have to see on Tesla. And Tesla, I believe the earnings is mid-October or roughly about mid-October on Tesla. That'll be interesting. Take a peek at the SPX. Still within this channel, still trending down. Not far from the potential bottom. We'll see what happens there. But I do think that there's more downside. And with something like the SPX, if you're just grabbing it for the first time, you really need to be careful. This thing is rangy. Let's see. We pull back. We'd like to get through this gap through 3750s, then potentially get a squeeze up into the 3800s. Definitely doubtful, but we'll see. Just wanted to show you this so you can see how much further we can go. Trying to think if there's something else I wish to cover that I'm forgetting right now. Oh yes, for sure, CI. And this is something that we've discussed. So once we went outside of this, once we pushed through the top here, I was short verticals and naked. And as we dropped, did exit, didn't reload, but we did extend outside of the zone here. So maybe we end up down around the 271 30-ish area. That is a pos. Yeah. But definitely nice dip. 271 is potentially the next area. I'm not really touching this at the moment. If we do happen to pull back again and give us another entry on the yep. So okay, keep going. Okay. Definitely keeping an eye on CI. Let's take a gander at Goldman Sachs. So we saw this drop here. Financials were really weak headed into the end of the week. And the target was 302. We sold through that. So if we can remount that the 302 area and get a nice little squeeze into the 310s, it could definitely get interesting. Be careful if you're playing financials because the news is one thing, then interpreting that news is something totally different. But definitely like Goldman Sachs, I will be watching banks as they head into earnings because I think the story around banks is very interesting. And you know, um we have to see how they operate with the lower mortgage contracts with people trying to get loans, and sort of how they pivot and how they weather that. And I think it's something to watch in a Goldman Sachs because it's kind of rangy. Definitely the options can be spready, but it does tend to move pretty quickly. Um, but those levels I'm watching, 310s, then the 319s and the 330s. Then to the downside, if we get below that 296, then the 291.40s. See, what am I forgetting? CMG, nice pullback right around the 1548, which is a strong line. So above we're bullish, below we're bearish. Um, but CMG notoriously spready. The 1540s, I open for the 1520s, then the 1508s, 1569, 1592. Okay, that's definitely interesting. Take a peek at Intel. It's not quite at 19 yet. That'll be a good place for it. Nice bounce. Let's see if we can get over the 2857 area. Intel, if we're looking for the upside, I do think we do have room to go down. Think am I forgetting anything? No, I don't think so. Well, thank you for your time, and just remember, you're always one trade away. I wish you well in your trading. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel, Power of Pivots, when you look forward to getting content from me and also content from Elisa as she shows Josh utilizes their strategy to find great pre-market, intraday, and post-market plays. Have a wonderful week, and keep in mind you're one trade away.